And we are live. Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. Okay, we have to start before introductions, before anything. Hey, everybody. Thanks for being here. Okay, so one of the things that I am just like, I'm actually nervous. And people are always so shocked that I'm nervous every time I go live. And then I'm always extra nervous when there are when I have a guest. So this is so cool. So I am learning. If you have no idea and somebody has shared this broadcast, you're like, who is that girl? I am Stacy Pierce. I am a lifestyle, personal, and business branding photographer. I am based in Orlando, but I travel all over for typically small business entrepreneurs or documenting events. And I basically turn traditional headshots and photos on their heads. And I just don't believe in it. I believe that images in business nowadays should rock. There's so much noise. People are making decisions about whether or not they want to work with you by looking at an image that comes across their screen. So they're making decisions about whether or not you look credible, whether or not you look reliable, whether or not you look trustworthy, and then whether they feel like, I feel like I could know her. They're making that decision in split seconds. Mm-hmm. And so my job as a brand photographer is to bring that out and produce images that rock. And that's what I do. I literally tell the story of your business through images. And so I get questions all the time. What is a branding photographer? Well, that's what it is. And I am super excited because as you can see, I have a guest. Hi, SharRon.
Stacy, I am so excited to be here with you. I'm so excited.
Okay, so now that I've gotten the introduction of me, let me just talk real quick. Let me just introduce SharRon. And okay, I'm so not going to do the whole cry thing. If you are watching this, and I don't always ask people to share, but I'm actually going to, before we get started, cover a couple of what I call housekeeping things, where if you can share this out, I would love for you to share. I think our topic tonight is going to be amazing. And I actually can't see, so I'm actually going to try to share too, because it makes a difference. Because our topic is actually pretty darn good. You should not, what we're talking about tonight is not playing small. Your playing small doesn't serve anybody, so stop it. And our playing small shows up in so many different ways. I think this topic, while it doesn't deal specifically with photography at all, it is just about inspiring somebody to start from wherever they are and recognize all the awesomeness that you are. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who's here. I can't see the comments just yet, which is kind of just me trying to get familiar with things. So bear with me, but I do see some people here. Hi. So while you guys are sharing, I want to introduce you guys to SharRon Jamison. SharRon Jamison I've actually known SharRon, haven't talked to her for almost 20 years, up until recently. But SharRon is a speaker, a best-selling author. In fact, I'm going to let SharRon introduce herself, but I just want to share with you guys that, anybody can call themselves a speaker or, sell a book and, get some people to buy it and be like bestseller. But not everybody is a visionary and can take their experience and have the actual story of struggles and what they have been through, figure out a way to come through and then share that experience to literally lift and build other people up. I'm telling you, everybody is not lifting by building. Some people try to lift themselves up by tearing other people down. I have experienced it. It is not fun. It is not cool. But I love when people want to serve and show up genuinely from the heart. And so I'll let SharRon share, introduce herself. But I always like to tell people, I'm always curious, when people are side by side in a dual broadcast, I'm like, I wonder how they met. Well, I'm going to tell you. Well, I'm going to tell you. I met SharRon on my very first corporate job. I went from selling food out of college to having what I call a real job with benefits, a real job with a company car, all of that stuff. Had no idea how tough, and everybody, ooh, you made it. There was no one. SharRon was the first, not only the first woman, but the first Black woman to actually reach out. Literally, it's almost like she just reached out and held my hand and was like, we're in this together. And it'll be a whole other broadcast to talk about how when there's only a couple of, girls with melanin at the corporate level, there's this thing that we don't talk about where there's a need to compete. There's a need to, you feel the need to compete because typically there's only room for one. And if there's two, that means y'all are vying for it because somebody's leaving. And so to have her just, recognize that I didn't know nothing. And I learned so much. And if anybody is watching this, I don't care whether you clean windows, whether you work at the car wash, whatever it is that you're doing, man, it could change somebody's life by you simply being kind and collaborating and encouraging each other and knowing that whatever it is that you have to give. In fact, one of the things that I eventually end up discovering is I actually don't want to be in corporate. I want the pay. I want the paycheck. I just don't want to deal with the stuff that comes along with it. But it doesn't matter what job that you're on. Just lift each other up and know that there's room for everybody at the table. There is room. There is room. And so I just want to say thanks, SharRon. We recently connected. It'll be a whole nother Facebook if I actually share the whole story of how we connected, but we did. SharRon, thank you for being here. Please introduce yourself to the people.
Stacy, first, I am just so grateful. I'm so grateful to reconnect. I'm so grateful to be here in this space with you. And like you said, my name is SharRon Jamison. I am a corporate leader, an author, speaker, a minister, and a mom. And I work with people as they are going through different, what I call seasons and stages of their lives, to help them understand who they are now. Because as we are going through this journey called life, we go through cycles, we go through changes. And so we have to make different choices to honor ourselves. And sometimes we have to learn how to honor ourselves in a way that makes us proud of ourselves. And then when we know how to do that, we perform better in corporate America, we perform better in organizations, but we perform better as ourselves. And so I love to work with people, individuals, couples, to help them not only have prosperity and peace, but proficiency at being who they are. Because so often we wear social masks and we wear social costumes and we impersonate everybody else and we don't know who we are. And so that's what I try to do, is to help people understand who they are so that they can perform as themselves, because you can't fly high with somebody else's wings. You need your own wings.
That's good.
That's what I try to do, is help people find their wings and soar. And so that's why my business is called Dare to Soar Higher. You soar higher with your own wings. And so that's why it's so important for people to find themselves and find their wings.
Yay. Okay, so I'm just so you guys know, I am literally figuring this whole thing out as I go, and I'm loving that it's now showing me the option to show different comments. So like as SharRon talks, I'm just gonna throw up different people comments that are here. I'm so excited to see everybody. Woo! Okay, so SharRon, you just recently invited me to kick off and we'll just talk quickly about it so we can dive right into the topic. But I think it ties into maybe a part of why you have your group Dare to Soar. Okay, you know what, SharRon? I'm so nervous.
No,
like,
you're amazing.
Amazing. This is crazy. I am actually really nervous. But you had me kick off
the countdown, yeah,
of speakers.
Yes.
You have that are sharing different nuggets from just 2017 this year. Hey, it's been rough for me. So when I tell you to be able to be asked to share what I've learned, it's like, where do I start? Where do I start? So I just want to say thanks for feeling like I have something valuable to say, because a part of the reason why I chose this topic is because, I mean, not long ago, SharRon, I was, in fact, I still struggle with playing small. Actually asking myself all the time, who do you think you are for doing a Facebook Live? Who do you think you are for, I mean, and that's just real. And I know I'm not by myself. I know I'm not by myself. But somebody actually had to say to me, you stop playing small. You have something, and I'm talking to you all too. You have something that somebody else needs in this world. You don't know what that little thing could do in you sharing it, could do to build someone else up. And so to get comments and see people's responses today, it reminded me that I got to stop playing myself small, you know? Yes. So that's one of the things that you do. How do you see that showing up in people's lives and kind of affecting really something that could be a great business, or even if it's not a business, just feeling better about yourself?
First, I have to say, you were the perfect person to start this off. I believe that people who go through struggle are the strongest. We are strengthened by our struggle. And so who can share struggle and success from an authentic place if they have not been? I'm never impressed when people who haven't been through anything. You don't get strong without struggle. We become warriors by our wounds. So I needed someone to have this vitality and a person who was vivacious like you were, to come with that energy, with that positivity, and to tell the truth. Because oftentimes people don't want to tell the truth. They don't want to tell that they fell down and they struggled to get back up. You were the person that embodies and exemplifies what it means to be resilient and tenacious. And I think you are both brilliant and beautiful. The person who was supposed to start was you. And I'm so grateful that you did. I'm so you honored me. And the message that you gave, people were just pouring out nuggets. That somebody contacted me, who is this high publisher in Canada, to ask about you. So I want you to know you were the person to start it. Your message resonated with me and with others, and I honor you and I celebrate you. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, SharRon. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I just hope someone's able to get something out of this in terms of how do you for that person who is just like, I don't know, I'm not good at and and I'll share this. In fact, that seemed like every time I talk, I'm always talking about church. It's never my goal, but it is just in me to not go against the church, but to go against the things that I was taught, that I was conditioned to believe. And that was that I am supposed to play coy. I am kind of supposed to play small, because you don't puff yourself up. You don't puff yourself up, because that's not godly. But when you're an entrepreneur, you have got to actually break away from that and stand in your awesomeness and find that thing that makes you unique and own it. So SharRon, how for somebody who is just like, how do they do that?
First, I have to put on my minister's hat. First, because I believe that sometimes the church does us a disservice. Because when you think about it, the people who are blessed are the ones who took risk and the ones who stood outside of the crowd. Everybody who was a leader, of course, Moses felt incapable and felt not worthy, but God qualifies us. But so we have to get into this space to know we are qualified to do our divine assignment. And so what if we don't have the skills? We think we don't, but we have been engineered to do what we're doing. I believe that we have been equipped, our DNA, for our destiny. So I'm never this feeling, that you have to be coy. First, the church is a patriarchal system that suppresses and oppresses women historically. So as a woman, I'm a womanist theologian. And I believe that God is not a he, God is God. And sometimes I call God she. And I believe that God empowers me to be this queen that I am, Because if the Bible says I'm the head and not the tail, well, I'm the head, doggone it, I'm the head, which means I'm amazing. Now, when we talk about our ego, that's when you get high-minded, when you start to feel like you are better than someone else. But if we are humanity and divinity, and God is amazing, we're amazing too, because we are humanity and divinity. So I don't get all this, oh, SharRon, you think you all of that. No, I think that I am what God says I am. And God says I'm amazing. God says I'm the head and not the tail. And God says that I should lead them. And so I believe it. I believe the Bible. That's what the Bible says. I believe the Bible. And I don't believe that the Bible says that Christians have to be poor. We have to be downtrodden. We have to look a hot mess. That's not biblical.
How are we gonna help somebody up if we're poor? Because that was something that guys, this actually is a true story. Mm-hmm. I never saw myself as a homeowner. Ever. Never. It never crossed my mind. All I knew, in fact, I think I was the first one in my immediate family to actually be a homeowner. Mm-hmm. I didn't know. In fact, I was visiting, I was being trained by another rep in Dallas. I will never forget her. Mm-hmm. She just had me come over for dinner or whatever, and she had just bought a house. And I was just like, how did you do this? I was like, and you're not married, and she was like, what do you mean? What do you mean? How did I do this? And she said, don't you have a home? I said, well, I have a place to live. I have an apartment, and it's got, I got 2 bedrooms, and coming from no one owning a home to, actually getting out of the house. Cause we know some people never leave home, and that's okay too. But I didn't know anything above having an apartment. And so she was like, okay, not to get in your business, but first of all, I know who you work for. We work for the same company, so I know what you make. She goes, I know what you make. Why can't you? And she literally sat down, actually shared what her bills were. And I was just like, are you kidding me? And she's like, and this could be all yours on blah, 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 blah. Never had I imagined that. So when I did go, you know what, I can. Mm-hmm. Do you know what people said to me? Mm-hmm. When I actually, you know how they have testimony time in church, right? Mm-hmm. I never, ever raised my hand to go, oh, blessed is be the Lord. And you know how we do. Mm-hmm. I'd never done that, but I felt like this is pretty cool. Like, I actually own a home. So what I did was I bought the garage door opener to church. Mm-hmm. And I said, I can't show everybody my house. Mm-hmm. I can't, bring everybody to my house, but I can show you the garage door opener that goes to the new house that I just bought. Mm-hmm. Right. And I was just like, I was so happy. After church, I was pulled to the side by one of the ministers. And one of the ministers said, that's actually a little, while we're happy for you, that is a little showy. And, we just don't want to ever get, be in a place where it seems like we're bragging. I was gone 2 weeks after that.
Thank you.
Bye. But I'm bringing that up because that is a real thing. That's not just from 20 years ago. That is happening right now in terms of you can't bless anybody else or change the world if you don't have anything to help build. Okay, I really did not mean for this to go the church way. I really didn't.
I think this is a great conversation. I think we have to be careful that we don't become prisoners of societal paradigms. Because when we become a prisoner to a paradigm that does not serve us, we start to shrink our lives, our big lives, all the way down to fit this paradigm that will suffocate us. The status quo is a straitjacket that chokes us. It chokes the life out of us. So we got to be careful when we don't start to make ourselves prisoners of patterns and paradigms and societal norms. But also, we have to wonder why the church is losing people. Nobody is attracted to poverty. Poverty is overrated. I've been poor. It's overrated. Right. I don't want to do that again.
Right.
But I think that we cannot also preach this message of this prosperity gospel, because I think that is equally destructive. Name it, claim it, call it, haul it. That's destructive, because what you're saying is is that if you are not blessed, that you're not a believer. That's wrong. That's not fair. So we got to be careful that we are not linking prosperity and and salvation connected, or that prosperity is an indication of your blessedness. That's dangerous. What we can say is that God gives us all talents, like the parable. And whatever God has given you, the gifts and the grace to do, you use that talent and you work that thing to get what you're supposed to get.
Yes.
But we have to understand that our money is not a sign of our blessedness. Because I know a lot of poor people who have prayed more than and are more righteous than all of us, and they don't have anything. And look at our president; he's rich, and I think that he is at no place righteous, right? So I think we got to be careful. So I think that we have to understand that we are, like I said, human and divine, and that God equips us to get wealth. But we got to make sure that we don't lose fact that this is a blessing, but this is the blessing giver. Mm-hmm. Because God is a blessing giver. And when we lose sight of who's the blessing giver, sometimes God got to take the blessings to get our attention and reestablish who's boss. Right. So I never make any mistake that all that God has given me is a gift, and I'm a steward of the gift. And when I start mismanaging the gift, God might have a different opinion. And so I feel like, you give more when you trust it. But I never think that when we start to elevate the gift, I think that's dangerous. But a lot of churches do that. Oh, we poor, we more safe. No, you're just poor.
Right. Right. And I'll just end on the church thing just by saying this, that, for all of my life, you talked about prosperity, and then I, went to a church where prosperity was wrong. They didn't preach it at all. Then I go to another church where that's all they talked about, and it meant money. And it took me leaving the church, actually, and having God show up to me outside of those four walls, because it's really funny. I want to make certain that everybody's clear, because I don't want, whoever is watching this, I don't want there to be any confusion. Mm-hmm. I am actually very spiritual, but I am so not like a lot of people where you talk to me, ask me how I'm doing. I go, oh, blessed, coming when I'm going, blessed. Like, if people do that, then they go through 5 scriptures before they tell you really how they're doing. I am not that girl. You know what? I'm doing really good. Or, today sucks. And people usually aren't prepared for that. But I say that to say, I studied out prosperity and what it actually means and what I found it to mean. It had nothing to do with money. It had nothing to do with anything I ever heard. When I studied that thing out, I found that it actually meant to get up from where you are.
Absolutely.
To literally get up from where you are. So that means if I'm sitting right here, right now, and this is all I can do, if I manage to get myself up, I have just prospered. When I was going through and couldn't get out of bed, just to say, Stacy, if you get up today and put some clothes on, you have prospered. And we make it so deep. We make it about being able to afford what's the red bottom shoe, SharRon? Louboutin?
I don't know. I just go whoever has some shoes.
You have those shoes. Listen, I ain't mad at you. When things change around here and I get somebody to cut the yard, a live-in person to cut the yard and do stuff around the house on a regular basis, maybe I can be able to then have an option to have some red bottom shoes. But I'm just saying, there's so much that we have to mindset in terms of playing small. It's just, you have the right to make some noise and to just pick even one thing. If you can't think of one thing that makes you amazing, find some new friends.
Yeah.
Find some new friends and surround yourself with some dope people who will not be, I don't like the friends who, just everything is great. Like, oh yeah, who aren't willing to tell you the truth, because you don't grow in that either. Mm-hmm. But you don't want the friends who are just, they just cut you down. You have even a piece of an idea. Girl, why are you going to do that? Why are you going to do that? So So can you touch on that? And I'm not saying that
I have to touch on a couple of things. I have to go back to this thing about this prosperity issue. Because I think that we get stuck on stuff. There is a difference between success and significance. There is a difference between making money and having meaning. There is a difference between having cash and having character.
Ooh,
Now, so since we know all of that, we get stuck because we feel that because we have such a myopic and limited, truncated understanding of prosperity that we only have a limited understanding to experience it. When we open and broaden our definitions of how prosperity shows up in our lives, we will stop looking for stuff and we will start looking for significance. We will stop looking for dollars. I think that I would any day rather have character, somebody of high character versus a lot of cash. Because a cash is what you have. Character is who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we get it twisted. But if you have good character, that means you're rich. Because that means that you're so wealthy that being in a poverty environment, psychologically, emotionally, and financially can't touch you. That's rich. Being rich is knowing that you are in the middle of a storm, but the storm is not inside of you. That's rich.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when we open our understanding of prosperity, we will not have a poverty mindset, because a poverty mindset says I gotta have stuff, and the stuff is the only thing that defines me. If you need stuff, you are poor. I feel like this: don't count your blessings, make your blessings count. That means you don't need stuff.
Ooh, I like that.
You need to be of significance. And so I tell people, keep the cash, keep the credit, give me some good character, because character would let me know that I can trust you. I can't trust your cash. I can trust your character. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, SharRon. I want some character and I want some stuff. Just food. I just need food.
I want wealth. Let's be honest. I want wealth. But I define wealth as health, as wisdom, and relationships. But I want some money. Why? Because I feel when I have wealth, it frees me up to do ministry. So I want money to help me be who I want to be. If I have to work a 9 to 5, it really cuts down my opportunity and my ability to be creative. And I need to write. I need to teach. I don't need to be worried about no mortgage. So I want some money. So I want to be liberated off the corporate plantation so I can be free. I got to be free. I got to be free to use the gifts that God has given me. So now I'm using the gifts that God has given me to liberate me. Because the Bible says our gifts make room for us, right? Well, I want some room. I want a big old room.
Yeah.
Because when I am free, I can do what God has called us to be. And you and I can have these conversations because people need to hear your story. Because I know your story. And if I was at church, I'll start having a shout meeting right now because your story is a powerful story.
Yeah. And in fact, I just, I've been talking about Belong magazine for a while. And it's funny because people, they hear that I'm a photographer, and the first thing people ask, "Ooh, have you photographed some celebrities? Have you, so and so is doing this, and they've been in vogue, and they've been they're killing it on Instagram." I got 2 followers on Instagram. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but I don't, as far as followers, and I'm not killing it. But I was featured in Belong magazine to share my story, and actually Danita is here, and so what's really funny is just and nobody knows who Danita is. Nobody knows who Danita is. But I was in such a bad place that I couldn't even celebrate the fact that here I'm telling my story for the first time. I'm telling people about the real truth behind what happened in corporate and how I left. Because people, they hear the word follow your passion and they think it's some cute, amazing, awesome, gushy, oh my God story. And that's, people don't understand that there's a lot of work behind following your passion. There's a lot of late nights and a lot of behind the scenes, I'm sorry. It's easy to put a picture up about, ooh, I'm running my business, or I got this laptop live. Let me tell you, running your business, like those are so much parts of corporate that were easier, but it was really, really hard for me. It took a toll, was not given the validation. And I didn't even want anybody to have my name in big lights on the big screen. I just wanted to be acknowledged, at least behind the scenes, when I met with my manager to say, hey, your numbers are great, you're killing it. Only to then be told, I don't think you were hired because of your merit, but I think you were hired because we needed diversity. I was like, huh, what? Yeah. And so then trying to work hard and push and push and push. And in doing that, trying to make myself small so I don't intimidate. Let me make myself smaller, but still try to work hard. And so I tell that story about how pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing to, and making myself small, but still trying to push harder to prove myself, how it ended up having me, back-to-back grand mal seizures that completely changed my life. Couldn't work, couldn't drive, didn't know who I was, all of that stuff. So I talk about Belong Magazine because it wasn't until Danita, who was in this group, she's actually typing up a lot of stuff, a lot of the comments that are being said. It was one night I decided, let me just go ahead and try to get back to life and turn on all of my notifications. Turn on my notifications. The first thing that popped up late at night was an Instagram post from Danita. It just said, you've been tagged in a post. Go to the post. Danita, who has never met me, but read the article. I hadn't even read it in, a really long time since I wrote it. When I tell you, it took me reading my own words and for her to just say, hey guys, I think this is a great article, read it. It literally was the thing, my own words is the thing that made me get back to life. And one of the things that in playing small is so frustrating as an entrepreneur, even if you aren't an entrepreneur, if you just even have an idea of wanting to do something and you share it with like your family and friends, they won't get it. That's been really hard for me to try to play small, not just for random people, but to have to do it for my family and my friends because they just don't get what you do and they don't get, they just don't get it. Like, why aren't you guys sharing my posts? And why aren't you just liking my stuff is free? I haven't asked any of you to, to support my dreams, or there's no GoFundMe account. I'm out here by myself. And so I started to play small and just not share my dreams. But I have to tell you, though, in doing that, I eventually decided, and this is just kind of where I am, and you can say, oh, I can't believe she does that. I made a decision that I would rather be intentional, just as I am about the people I surround myself with. I was very intentional about the communities that I would involve myself in on the internet, on Facebook, or joining different groups and meetups. If you don't think like I do in terms of understanding at least my mindset, I can't deal with you. And at least it's a space, even if it's a community that you have a subscription to be into, whatever it is, as long as it is something, if you're not getting it in your church and you're not getting it with your friends, find a community or group or someone who you can connect with where you don't have to play small. And I know some people will probably be looking at like, did she just say she kind of basically just pays to? Yeah, I'm actually involved in communities purposely, those that aren't free, because anybody can come in, which means you get any kind of, just peeking and seeing. I love being involved in different communities, even if it's mentorship, SharRon, which you do. And in fact, I didn't know until just a few days ago in looking at your website. In fact, SharRon, can you share your website, please? Please.
Yes, it's my name, www.SharRonJamison.com. And that's SharRonJamison.com. Everything is my name. But I want to say something to talk about something that you said that was so powerful. It's important for people to understand where there is shrinkage, there's leakage. So when there is shrinkage, there's leakage. So every time you start to play small, your self-confidence leaks out. Your self-esteem leaks out.
Yes.
Your powers leaks out. So we got to be careful that when we start shrinking, we're going to start leaking, and then we're going to be left as a shell. So it's important when you love yourself to say, this environment is causing me to shrink. Because remember, we have to be responsible. This doesn't feel good for me. I'm starting to feel like I have to constrict and conform and to comply. That means that this room is too small for me, because we should never have to reduce ourselves or edit ourselves or siphon off ourselves or cut off our arm to fit into the box. And when we start shrinking, we start leaking, and then we say, where's our power? We cannot allow our power to go through our hands. So when we feel it, we got to hold on to our power, get your grip, and get to step it. Don't stay in places where you're shrinking. Now, we shrink for a lot of different reasons. Sometimes the room is too small, but sometimes people are intimidated. We got to be careful. We got three things, I call them 3 E's we got to look at. One, when you're with people who have big egos, because that means that they want to be the only one shining. And if people have to throw shade instead of shining light on you, you have to go, right? That's ego. The second one is envy. And that's why it's so important to know when people, even though they're by your side, that does not mean that they're on your side, because they can be close and still coveting. So I don't get fooled by the claps. I'd be like, you about to try to clap me and choke me, right? The third thing is entitlement. Entitlement means you owe me. I deserve this. I remember one of my friends, I'm not going to say who, and I started making money. And she said, well, SharRon, you should co-sign for a car. Remember that time I gave you a ride? Stacy, she gave me a ride on a tricycle when I was 4.
You, SharRon, okay.
I swear. I said, wait a minute.
SharRon.
You are going to go way back 45 years ago when you gave me a ride on a tricycle, as if that is equivalent for me to co-sign in your car. First, I owe you nothing, right? I owe you nothing. I owe God, and I owe the people who God tells me to serve, but you're not entitled to my money. You're not entitled to my wealth. Now, I can share and we can collaborate, but it won't. See, people don't understand. It's different between sharing than transferring. People don't want to share. They want to transfer, right? Now, we ain't transferring my stuff. Now, I'll share a little bit with you, you share a little bit with me, but I will not get into relationships where there's not mutuality and reciprocity. If we're going to be a partner, let's be a partner, but I'm not going to let you be a parasite. And parasite and partners are not the same thing, but we get so seduced that we start being loyal to leeches because they're our families and our friends. I'm sorry, you're sucking my blood. I don't care if we have the same DNA. I'm gonna die if I stay around you.
Right.
And so we have to leave. But I also understand that I don't allow my family to understand what we do and to support me. I have family members who have never bought a book. I have family members who have never heard me preach, never heard me speak. I have family members who don't even click on anything. I have family members who didn't come to both of my graduations. I have family members who didn't come to both of my weddings. I didn't even march across when I got my bachelor's degree because not one of my family members came to my graduation. So I decided not to march when I got my bachelor's. But I have learned to not be persecuted by isolation. And when you learn that, you take your self-esteem out of the hands of another. I can't put my self-esteem in your hands. You don't deserve that. You will crush me.
Right.
So I go pay for some friends too. It's called a therapist. I pay for a therapist. I pay for some coach. I got some paid friends, but I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because and it's okay. But I know I won't have to pay forever. But right now I got to pay. And I'm okay with that. And but then I pray for people, and then God lets me reconnect with you after 20 years. So God just said, SharRon, hold on, Stacy is coming. And people like Stacy are coming. And so I honor God for you. And I'm grateful.
Okay, see, you can't say stuff like that and expect me to just because, I mean, SharRon, people like to be lied to.
Yeah.
People like to be lied to. And so I typically disappoint in that area. And Because, people see, I like to think that I'm very much who you see me to be right now. The person that you see on social media is very much who it is that who I am.
I can vouch for that. I've known you for 20 years. I can vouch for that.
But I'm also the person who, when you treat me halfway decent, I'm like, you can't do that to me. Yes. You're like, oh, you're okay. I'm like, because you just did this to me, and I don't give you permission. And so it's very off-putting because they're like, but you're the happy, bubbly, confetti girl, right? Like, but we're going to have to address what you just did because you can't do that. Mm-hmm. And so I've lost friends in this journey, which I'm totally okay. It's a part of the process. I didn't know that. But it's a part of the process. It's pruning and it sounds all good, but it hurts when you have to lose friends because you won't give free services. And how we play small, even with our pricing. Mm-hmm. We play small in that way, go, well, because I know I'm not like big, like so-and-so. I'm no Annie Leibovitz, or I'm no, so-and-so. And I know Sasha Holloway is in here. I don't know if she wants me to say her name because she has like a new name like 3 times a year. Mm-hmm. But it's hard. It was hard for me not to compare myself to her work. Sasha, like, seriously, like, it blows me away. And then when people found out that I follow you, and then they were like, oh, you know her? I'm like, girl, child, yeah, like, went to one of her, she taught me in a session. And so then they go, ooh, but are you doing this like her? Or are you doing this like her? And not even just use, it's everybody. Mm-hmm. And so we feel like, well, I'm not at that level. So I got to, start, I'll charge half. I'll charge half, or I'll charge whatever. And it really, like, once you go down that path, and typically what happens is you discount your prices, and people typically they start asking for more. So here you discount your services or change your contract altogether. And once that starts to dismantle, you find that, okay, they're going to want this extra little thing, and then this extra little thing. And so there's all these different ways that playing small shows up, that we don't even realize it. And that is really establishing our worth and our value and feeling good and raising the prices a little bit every single time. And then when somebody buys it, you're like, what? Like, I could have been charged for this all this time. And so as a photographer, it's amazing too, SharRon, to see how people play small when it comes to actually their photo shoots. And I know it doesn't all the way make sense, but I had a client who, in my eyes, was one of the most confident people I ever met. I'm talking a fireball speaker. People hire her left and right. She's always being featured at some conference. And, I was a little nervous actually about shooting her. And because I'm not doing that Bible in your hand going, oh, look at Jesus. I don't, I'm not, oh, in God good. I'm not doing those. So we had to have a conversation about that I ain't doing that. That's not what I'm doing. And so I said, hey, do you mind if I get you in a way that I feel like, expresses that your light or whatever? And so what I did is I did a combination of the safer stuff, but then I did some stuff that was more what I call really fierce, like a really fierce Stacy Pierce photography. So when I did her reveal, I made a video. And I did it based on how I saw her, which wasn't, there was maybe one shot of her with the Bible, but she was laughing because I was being stupid and twerking in the middle of the shoot just to make her laugh. So she's got the Bible in her hand and just laughing.
Right.
How often do you see the church lady with the Bible in her hand and gut laughing? Usually it's, ain't it good, Jesus?
Yes. Hallelujah.
Nasty, right? So in the preview, in the reveal, I had, fierce, just words like being bold and, not hiding, all these different, it was awesome. And she later, I said, so what'd you think? And she goes, you know what? Just as I'm a mentor, which I didn't actually realize that mentors need mentors, right? Right? Life coaches need life coaches, just like pastors need somebody who's going to be pastoring them.
Yes, ma'am.
It's Same thing. And she said, and I was talking to my mentor, and I was honest with her. She goes, and I'll be honest with you. I had an issue with the kind of in your face, bold, fierce, rocking it, based on what I do. She was like, and it was my mentor that said, oh, honey, you are all those things. You are all those things. And it's taken Stacy Pierce to see those things in you the way she sees it, but you are all those things.
Yes.
And I'm like, ah! So of course there was tears, and she was like, I didn't see it. I did not see it at first. She's like, but I'm looking at my photos right now. I am all of those things. I am all of those things, and I will be unapologetic about it. Yes. So I love what I do, and how sometimes, and I will include myself in this, it takes other people to recognize the things that you don't even see in yourself.
But that's normal, Stacy. None of us becomes our best self ourselves, right? Becomes our best self. We all need models, and we all need affirmation. I don't say we need to suck on it, but we need to have it, right? Mm-hmm. Because and that's okay. And I think that we get to this place where we feel like we can be our best by ourselves. No, we need to have an example of a standard of what greatness looks like and what goodness looks like. And so that's okay. But something I wanted, you were talking about compromising. I love that you didn't compromise who you are, because compromising is a slippery slope. It's a slippery slope.
Yes.
And you might start from here, and then you end up here, and then you wake up one day, it's like, how did I get here? It's interesting. I guess I started doing this life coaching thing, maybe 10 years ago, but really in the Jamison group. And one person told me, you charge too much. You knew. I said, no, baby, I'm new to you, but I ain't new.
Right.
I might be new to you, but I ain't new. I grew up in the church. I've been speaking since I've been teaching Sunday school. I was a church musician when I was 10 years old.
What?
I'm like, no, baby, I'm new to you. And just because you don't know who I am does not mean that I don't know. See, I know who I am. I know my worth. And so you can't give me a hot dog and a piece of cake and we're going to call it that's my salary. No, ma'am, baby. And so people would get upset. Oh, SharRon, you think you all of that? No, I think I'm all of that. And that's why you will pay me. And if you don't pay me, that's fine. But it was so interesting. Oh, you just new to the scene. No, baby, I'm new to your scene. But I'm not new to this world scene. And that's why I think it's so important as entrepreneurs not to limit ourselves to the people we know. If people don't like you in America, fine. It's a big old globe out there. And I'm not gonna, you don't like me, fine. It's 2 billion people are somewhere around here. So I'm okay with that. But this is what I have learned about picking contracts and clients. Some dollars ain't worth a dime. Some dollars ain't worth a dime. And because the people who pay the less, those are the ones who will drive you crazy, have unrealistic expectations. They want a payment plan. They send you the bounce check, and then they mad. They won't do the work. And then they don't do any of the work and be the first ones bad mouthing you on social media. And so, and so when I was a personal trainer, that's when you first met me 20 years ago. Yes. If people didn't got off their diets, I would fire them. I'm like, if you're not going to do work, you don't get a chance or a choice to make me look bad. So I love that you are able to push and have this woman look through your eyes, because you're the professional. And I think if more women, and I'm a minister, will show people that Christianity is fun, people will start running from the church. Because I grew up, I'm thinking, I don't want to be the Christian. That Christianity ain't no fun. I can't wear makeup. I can't wear pants. I can't wear earrings. I'd rather go to hell. That's what I thought. I'm going to knock the bottom out of hell. This Christianity, that ain't attractive. But when we show, then we have this extra thing where we show people who are pimping the pulpit, because there's a lot of pimps in the pulpit. So we have
that's a whole other broadcast in it by itself.
Yeah. So you have the pimps and then you have the paupers. Why just show people? And so I just honor your work. I've seen your work. I think you are a genius. And so what that somebody has a big name, that's your time is coming. But however, I would rather go to someone who sees me, because like I said, when I wrote that post, you see through the lenses, but you see my soul. And what do human beings want to be? They want to be seen. And when you talk to me, I feel seen. I would pay extra money to feel seen. And
Wow.
you always make people feel seen. And that was 20 years ago when we both were in corporate America. You made people feel seen. And that's why people celebrate you. And that's why people are coming to Stacy and charge them for what they were. People will pay anything that they want to pay. Like I tell person, oh SharRon, that's a lot. I'm thinking like you think $500 a lot. Your weave costs $6,000. You're gonna pay more for the weave on your head than the having not having the craziness in your heart. So go ahead and go and weaves are fine. I'm all for weaves. I don't wear one, but I'm for one. But the point is that people value value things that are not valuable. So I think it's important, and I'm so happy that you are doing what you're doing. You are a genius. You are gifted. You have been through the fire. You have been through adversity, but you keep coming up and getting up. And you are a role model for every entrepreneur, for everybody in transition, for everybody who has bounced back from disease to say, do not give up. I celebrate you. I celebrate you.
Thanks, SharRon. Thanks. Yeah. And really, like I've been trying to be more diligent about having time limits and not going over an hour.
We've been talking.
And so, and we haven't gone over the hour. So, one of the things that a part of doing this was just, SharRon, I just want people to know who you are. And again, I've just seen people, again, I feel like a broken record when I say, I am still shocked. Like I think I'm a pretty good judge of character, but I'm also the person who will give, even if I feel like kind of like on the fence, I will give people the benefit of the doubt to show up and serve and be kind. And so when I've done it wrong, and then I find just people really aren't there to serve. They just they're just there for their own agenda. I love being able to share, even if it's just one person who did not know you before tonight, to know that this is like you're going live. Like, do you go live weekly?
Yeah, when a spirit leads.
Okay, yeah.
So
if you are not, I just want to tell people, like, because you have the SharRon Jamison Facebook page, right? Mm-hmm. And then there's Dare to Soar.
Right.
Dare to Soar Higher. Yeah. But my favorite thing right now is your book, which I was supposed to have like right here, but it's on my bed at the side table. And I love your book. And in fact, SharRon, one of the things, I'm putting you on the spot here, and we can talk about it later if you have an issue. But for right now, I'm hoping that you can, I would love to do a giveaway at some point.
Let's do one now. We can do
a bundle of your like a bundle of your book. Like, just here it is. Go bless someone. Because I actually love to read, but I don't like to read long books. I'm the person who needs nugget size, bite size stuff, and that is what I love about your book. It is just quotes of that I just be like, now see, that one quote was worth. I sat in church for 2 whole years and didn't get that. And then one of your quotes, I'm just like, wow. And I always like to tell people, I'm not an affiliate of SharRon's. I don't get anything. If she gets new followers, I don't get anything. If her book is sold, I just like sharing the stuff. I mean, this is just where I am. If the Bible, if quotes from scriptures from the Bible is the only thing that you're quoting, I promise you, God wants more for you. Read, saints. Read. Like, literally, I haven't read all of these books, but at one point, even if it was just some little nugget or one chapter, most of the stuff I actually have read. So I really feel like these books are part of who it is that I have become because of the things that I have learned. And so I plan to, for the people who will probably never buy your book or be like, oh yeah, that's really great, good for her. I plan to, for the new year, like when I just don't feel like posting pictures and going through stuff, all the stuff that goes along with Instagram and posting, I plan to open up your book and just pick a quote and just let that be my post. I don't care if it gets 100 likes or 1,000 likes. If one person see it and go, ooh,
You're about to make me cry. You're gonna make my lashes come
that's
off.
what I'm doing. That is what I'm doing. And so, yeah. And I plan to okay, and I should be embarrassed. I really should. But I had SharRon's book, thought it would be good to just to where somebody else was. It's like, you know what? I think you're going to really enjoy this. Then got mad because I gave it away when I wanted it. So I was like, have you? Well, yeah, it's really good. I was like, where is it? Well, it's, it was in the same spot, same place that when I gave it to her, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna need that back. You know what? If it's not gonna be a blessing to you, I need it back so it can be a blessing to me. So will you give it back? So I took it back. I took the book back. Who does that? Who does that?
And that is okay. I have another book, Decide to Soar 2 is coming out. And I'm really, really excited about that. Yeah. And you know what it is? It's so funny that like I feel it and I just write it. And sometimes I don't even know if it makes sense. Right. I just, whatever comes, I just write it. It'll come to me. And but I really like those nuggets, because sometimes I have to, many times I'm talking to myself, like, come on, girl, make it's just like little stuff that I'm so grateful about. But I one of the things I just have to say this, I know this, I'm not trying to embarrass you. You set it off this morning when you did the countdown to 2018. That was something, it was a last minute thing a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
That God said, listen, I want you, yeah, God be talking to me. No. Say, I want people to start off 2018 very strong. And so I said, you know what? I'm gonna get some speakers together and I'm gonna ask them to share their words, to share some encouragement, some tips, some tools to help people soar higher in 2018. And I saw you, I'm gonna ask Stacy if we could do it. And you blew us away this morning, and I'm so excited because I have a closed group, but we're opening up the group until January the 2nd, because we have speakers like you. We have Kim Coles, we have Jude Archer, who's amazing. We have Lucinda Cross, who's amazing.
What?
Yes, we have Sherry Leopold, who's amazing. We have John Schamberger, who's amazing. We have Regina Poole. We have just amazing people. We have Alex Okoji from Nigeria. We have Frank Picasso from Canada. We have Adriana Kazani from Brazil. We have people who are just going to come and share. We have a person who's 11 years old, who's an actor in Los Angeles, is going to come and share. He's 11 years old. His name is Clayton Jackson. My son is going to come because he's a millennium, because I believe that every age has a different word.
Yes.
And people are just, and I'm just saying, you know what, SharRon, just do it. I don't know how to make a meme. I was on Canva trying to make a little meme. I didn't know what I was doing, but this is what I do know. I feel that when God gives you vision, God gives provision. So I'm like, okay, God, I don't know who to ask. And I something just hit me. Oh, ask this person. Okay, and I'll call it. It was not planned, but I knew that I wanted you to start it off because I love your energy and you have this zest for life. So I'm grateful. And then you're gonna come in, as we call in church, and she gonna walk heavy. That means she preached well. Just so you know what that means. That means
I've never heard that, and I thought I heard every church saying.
Yeah, girl, she was walking heavy, girl. She walked down my road. That means you were really preaching and really saying stuff. And you blessed us. So thanks so much. And I'm thoughtful. I'm grateful for, because June is coming. June is powerful. He's tomorrow at 11. We have Monique is powerful. One of my friends, Colette Pratt, she is this amazing attorney in Los Angeles, voted one of the top attorneys in California. Has prosecuted trials local and at the Supreme Court of California.
Wow.
So I'm like, and these people are saying yes.
Yes.
I am grateful to God, but I think that if people get their notebook, because look, I have my whole notebook from you this morning. If people just take notes, they will have enough rules and lessons to catapult themselves in 2018. Because knowledge is power, but after you hear it, do something with it. Just don't hold it.
Yes.
So some people just get fat with knowledge, but if you got to walk it out.
Yeah, and then you're like, what do I do with all of this? And which is one of my takeaways too from another lesson that I didn't share, because I tried to honor the time.
Oh God, I love talking to you.
Is you have to do things to figure out it's the wrong thing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So the clarity comes in doing.
Yes.
The clarity comes in action.
Yes.
Because you can get all the knowledge, but if you're not doing it, this.
You get top heavy. You get top heavy. You get
so you gotta get it wrong sometimes to get it right. And so so I will be tuning in when I can.
Yes.
To people, and if I can't catch everybody live, which I already know I won't be able to catch everybody live, because then what I love is that I make certain I told people that's not what this is about. Like, I gotta be there. If you can catch it on the replay, great. Yeah. I think you should try, and just whenever you can. But whoever I can't catch, I know I'll glean something, and so I can't wait to see what everybody else or hear what everybody has to say.
I think it's important. I think if people understand, and I have to get this in my spirit, sloppy success is always better than perfect mediocrity. Just think about that. Sloppy success is better than perfect mediocrity. So that means if I gotta be sloppy and stumble, and I will stumble my way versus to be perfect and mediocre. Ain't nobody got time for average. So it's okay to success is sloppy. So just know that sloppy success is better than perfect mediocrity.
That's good.
And if you understand that, you will welcome mistakes. And you will welcome mistakes because you know that mistakes and mishaps bring messages. So you feel equipped. I just say, God, let me fail real fast now. Let me fail real fast. That's my prayer. Let me go down quick. So I can rebound and bless people in a way that honors God. Because that's what I want to do. I want to honor God.
I honestly, I cannot wait to share. I really do wish I had my book so you can see all my, girl, I am the queen of Post-its. Like, I'm not kidding.
Look, we'll have to come to this again.
And your book is like I got, all the pages that I want to do quotes from. And so honestly, this is actually going to release me a little bit from just, it doesn't come natural to me to do the posts and, ooh, look at me, look at what I'm doing. It just doesn't come natural. So to be able to feel kind of like my social media space with not just my work, but your quotes that actually inspire me, I cannot wait.
Okay, one more thing before we leave.
Okay.
I implore you.
I'm not ready. I don't think.
You are, Mama, to put yourself out there. Why? You have a message. People are going to attack you if you do it, and they're going to attack you if you don't do it. So what? I want you to put yourself out there because, listen, you're queen. You are beautiful. You're bold and you're brilliant. So if we want the spotlight, we have to be ready to take the heat, right? So we want a spotlight. That's fine. And I don't mean like the spotlight. You want to be good.
Right.
You have to pick up the heat. So put yourself out there. And if people don't celebrate or support you, that's their business. I'm going to be out on the sideline. Go, Stacy. Go, Stacy. Go, Stacy. Hercules. But put yourself out there. People need your message. And if they don't like you, guess what? Go to somebody else's page. I tell people like, oh, SharRon, why do you have your pictures on your page? Because it's my page. How about that? It's my page and it's my picture and it's my quote with my face on it. I don't get upset with that. People will say, oh, SharRon, that's egomania. Well, go to somebody else's page. I define and I decide what goes on my page. I would not allow you to dictate to me about something that belongs to me.
Right.
I'm responsible. I believe in self-mastery. So I masterly kicked them out of my life. It's okay. I'm the boss of me and you're the boss of you. Put yourself out there. You're shine. You're vibrant. You're brilliant. You are vital, and you're vivacious. And if you don't show people that the best is yet to come, that you can come back from adversity, people will not know. You will save someone's life. People, we have to come back and tell your story. We got to tell your whole story.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You will liberate somebody. I feel liberated already. I'm about to take off this slave thing off of my foot, because you have liberated me. And whoever is free is free indeed. That's, look, as the people say in church, that's the word. That's what the no plan. I'm playing. Let me stop before but you know what? I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for our reconnection, and the best is yet to come. God has a work for us to do. I feel it.
Yeah, I do too. I really, really do too. And so I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for all the people who showed up here tonight. And I had made a decision that if it's just me and SharRon with 0 people in the corner, which has happened, that we just gonna talk and chat and do a continuation of our talk, which was supposed to be, let's just catch up for 30 minutes, block 30 minutes. No. It was the best.
Yes.
It is just good to have and I say this all the time as someone who has a business, and you're always trying to gain followers. And it's so cool when people be like, girl, I got 5,000. I can't accept your friend request. Like I have said for years, if I got 5 people in my life that I can pick up the phone and call, not play a role, not have to be, try that thing, the church face. You know how you give church hugs and hi, isn't it good? No, I can just go, this ain't working for me.
Girl, I believe I'd rather go deep versus wide, because sometimes we have all these fake friends and real enemies, and rather go deep. I want 2 or 3 people where I can just be who I am and practice being who I am, because sometimes I'm working it out. I'm 50-something. I'm still working it out. So I am grateful. We're going to stay connected, and we'll just come back.
Yes. This is so cool. Like, guys, these comments, I can't even post them all. Like, I've been trying to pay attention and post people's comments. Like, SharRon, can you see the words on the screen on your end?
Sometimes, but I wear glasses, but I had a choice. Lashes are glasses and lashes one.
But I love, I think I'm going to do more of this and figure out, and Talisha is here, so she's going to help me figure out how to do this more efficiently, and to be able to, still be here and be present, but still post people's comments and stuff. This is really, really cool. And I typically, every time I do a Facebook Live, I'm like, girl, it's going to be a while, like before I host, because there's more. If it's just me going live and I'm just spontaneous, like, hello, everyone, I'm doing this. But when you host, there's much more stuff to be, to do and to be aware of, and to make certain everybody can hear me, and this whole part of the time I couldn't see any of the comments. So you guys don't know all the stuff that goes on. But Talisha, I would love to be able to connect with you. I have your number saved in my I'm just saying. But SharRon, I so appreciate this. Thank all of you for being here. SharRon, thank you. I cannot wait to work with you. Like, for real. Like, it's all, even if you get so busy and you just, I haven't had time. I'm coming to Atlanta.
You better. I need you. And I want you in my life. I need people like you in my life. I need you. And I want you in my life. So we will be working together.
Yay. Thank you guys so much. You guys, you can still, if you've been here and you didn't feel like there was anything, as you were going in and you're like, what, that wasn't bad, go ahead and share. But thank you guys so much. SharRon, I absolutely adore you. Thanks so much. I'm so looking forward to what we're going to do for next year.
Yes. The countdown to come to the Data So Higher group, and the speakers, please just come and get fed. Come and get fed. Tell everybody, come and get fed. Yes?
Sounds good. Thank you so much, SharRon. Bye, guys.
I'm grateful. Bye. Thank you.
I'm going to need you to know what I'm on Facebook. You got that. I'm trying to say goodbye to the people. I'm trying to show the world one Facebook Live at a time. I'm done with you. Thanks. Well, I don't have it either. I don't get like because I can't have my life disrupted like that. Oh my god! Oh my god! I hit in and Talisha is being amazing. Cheryl, I'm still broadcasting, talking to you. Oh my gosh! That is hilarious. Wait, who's calling me? Oh, SharRon! This is hilarious. Hold on, Cheryl. SharRon. I am actually, I hit the end button, but it's, oh, I didn't hit the end button. Hold on. This is so cool. This, like, I'm still here. See, this is real life. First of all, my sister calls me right in the middle of a live broadcast. Calls me in the middle of, this is what happens, guys. This is literally what happens in real life. So yes, there are still 14 people here. Hi, guys. And what, Cheryl, I should put you on speaker so people know. Okay, yeah. So I am ending now so I can scold my sister for calling me live on the middle of a broadcast. Thank you, guys. Cheryl, I should make you apologize to all the people. Hey, SharRon.